Minneapolis. Where are you joining from? Houston. Hey, Houston. Yay. I had an interview there recently. North Carolina, Chicago, Chi-Town, baby. Hi, guys. Did you guys enjoy your week? Did you guys have to go to work? Like physically go to work this week with all the snow. I hope everybody's doing safe. Guys, go ahead and invite your friends, please, your enemies, your family members, that person that y'all discuss, you know, hot topics with, politics, the person you discuss politics with, or immigration, or uh, I don't know, police stops, whatever the person you discuss real topics with. Go ahead and invite that person, or any person really that would need this advice. Honestly, go ahead and invite them, because I will be covering very very good topics. And a lot of people always tell me, "Man, wish I knew you were live. I would have come and I would have learned something." Or um, also, people sometimes say, "Hey, I wish I knew you were alive so I could come and ask questions." So, if you are that person, now would be the time. Let me try to wipe this screen. Now would be the time to join live. You could tell your friend also to join live. All right. So, without further ado, we're gonna start talking. It's gonna be a great live, and then after that, of course, I'll always answer some questions, and then we'll be done. So today is Friday. For those who didn't have to physically go into the office, this is probably like your last day at home. Okay, so that's why I said let me just make sure I come live today. All right, so I'm talking about ICE traffic stops. What to do? What to do if you're pulled over? Um, if you're one of those people who's never been pulled over in your life, first of all, you're very, very lucky. If you've never been pulled over by the police at all, you are just super, super lucky. You are one of those blessed people. Tap on your back for being one of those people, right? However, if you are one of those people who's ever been pulled over, even before ICE became a hot topic, or even before these shootings, these ICE shootings of regular citizens happened a few weeks ago, even before that happened, you already know it can be quite dangerous. In the United States, police brutality has been, a hot topic and has been a big discussion probably since the 90s, early 90s, even maybe late 80s, right? Some of the famous rappers that we used to listen to, used to always talk about that. Tupac used to always talk about that. I don't know, Snoop, name it. You know, also some musicians, rappers have talked about police brutality. And so now it's kind of spilling over with immigration becoming a hot topic. It's spilling over to the average immigrant. So what should you do? How should you get out of a stop safely? This is something clients have been asking me to talk about for a while, and for many reasons I hadn't talked about it in a live or video, honestly. But now I think it's time, and I just think we can no longer bite this bullet. We just have to go head on and talk about what to do. Should you be pulled over? Like, it's a big deal. And how should you get out of it safely? So number one tip, I'm going to share a couple of tips, and I'm going to get out my notes because there's a lot of tips. So if you have a pen or paper, go ahead and take out your pen and paper and just take notes. But because I'm going to be going through them pretty fast. But again, I just want to discuss this because it is becoming something that could happen just to anybody. We hear all the time, even U.S. citizens being pulled over. So a few days ago, I released a video discussing, and by the way, if you want to, that's on my page, all my pages. I just released a video discussing what should you do if ICE is at your door. So I did discuss that a few days ago. So that is available for you to view. But after that, of course, I even got more questions now about people talking about, but what if I'm pulled over? So this is actually technically even more dangerous, right? Because you're in public. It's not a situation you can easily get out of, right? In your home, you at least have a door. Possibly you could close the door. You could be talking to an officer through the screen of your door. You're much in a much safer position. But then like if you're stopped, all right. And also the chances of someone being pulled over are much, much higher than someone being stopped, by are much, much higher than an officer coming to your door. So the chances of you being pulled over Just obviously common sense, because you got to go somewhere every day. You have to go to work, you have to go to school, you have places to be, people to see on a daily basis. So the chances of you getting pulled over are much higher. So let's talk about that. All right. So I've given you the foundation, and I hope people are sharing. Go ahead and share, guys. Go ahead and share now, as I begin to discuss these tips. So tip number one is just, please, just remember, safety is key. Okay, so every tip I tell you, every right I tell you to assert, or any other lawyer tells you, please remember that when you're in that situation, the biggest thing you want to do is just get out of there safely. So you want to implement all these tips in a way that you get out of there safely. All right. And if you're not able to implement one or two of these things because you were concerned about you being alive, to see your children the next day, to see your family members the next day, that's okay. All right. So number one tip is just be safe. Safety is key. Do everything in a safe way. Do everything in a calm manner so you get out. So that's tip number one, is safety. Get out of there alive. Get out of there well. Get out of there legally protected. That's your first tip, first prerogative. Just get out of there alive, well, and legally protected. Secondly, go ahead. Of course, if you're being pulled over, you should pull over. Definitely don't try to run away. Don't try to run off. We saw that just even on the news, how that went down just a few weeks ago. Don't try to drive off. Make sure, pull over, turn off your car is number three. So pull over, turn off your car. And then once the officer comes to you, you may not know who it is, right? So it's very popular for ICE officers to be in plain clothes. So you first of all just want to pull over your window, low enough. Pull over your window low enough for them to be able to see what's going on inside, whether it's a police officer or whether it's ICE. That's okay. I mean, they're well within their rights to have you pull down your windows. Okay, so pull down your window. You don't have to pull it down all the way, but it needs to be low enough, of course, for them to be able to see what's going on inside there. So just pull down your window at least so that they can be able to see what's going on. Okay, what's going on inside your car is what I'd say. All right, give me a second. Move this over. Then after that, and also, of course, the next tip is anytime you need to move, make sure you're communicating and telling them, okay, I'm about to reach over and do this. And then the next thing, of course, is once you pulled over pull down your windows, you want to ask them, please, who are you? Please, I'd like to know, why am I being pulled over? Who are you? And what's your ID number? Again, all these things are just things we are telling you. This is legal advice. Practicality will be different. So if you get there and the officer refuses to tell you who they are or why they pulled you over continually, and you can tell they're kind of in a violent mood, they're refusing to tell you who they are, they're refusing to tell you why they pulled you over, they're refusing to tell you, their badge or ID number. Obviously, you can't make them. You really just cannot make them. You've done your part and you move on. So after that, the next step is now you've asked them, why did you pull me over? You've asked them for their name. And again, you've asked them to identify themselves, who they are, what's their name, why they pulling you over. And of course, you've asked them for their badge ID or their badge number or their ID number. You've done that. Let's say they refuse. Fine. Okay, moving right along. But the purpose of you asking them why they pulled you over is it kind of pushes them to like it's just a way of asserting your rights and pushes them to kind of let you know what the stop is really about, in other words. Then after that, so the next thing now is they may ask you for your ID, okay, or they may ask you for your immigration status. So either they're going to ask you for your ID or they may ask you for your immigration status. Remember, by this time, you still may not know if it's ICE that's pulled you over or if it's a police officer. So the general rule is if it's only ICE can ask you for your immigration status. So, but if it's like a regular police officer, the only thing they're supposed to be asking you for is a driver's license, registration, and insurance. So if they ask you for any documents, you pull out your license, your registration, okay, and your insurance documents, and you give them to them, okay? Always remember, anytime you're reaching over, let them know, be communicating, hey, I'm reaching over and I'm doing this, and this. I'm getting this for you, etc. All right. The biggest thing though, if it's ICE, do not lie. This is so huge, so big. Don't lie, and then don't be giving over false documents. Don't give out any type of false document. Don't give out a false passport or a passport with someone else's name on it, or documents that have someone else's name on it or someone else's picture on it. No false documents, no false information, no lies. Okay. This is so big for multiple reasons. Of course, obviously, number one is we're in this situation because of the narrative that all immigrants are criminals, all immigrants are out here, committing crimes, lying. So we're in this situation partly because of the narrative that's being told on the news. So you lying is feeding into that. You giving false documents, number one, is of course feeding into that lie. It's feeding into that allegation. We don't want that. And secondly, you make it kind of very difficult for your lawyer to defend you. All right. So if it is ICE and they do end up detaining you, and then they present documents over to the immigration court per se, showing that you gave false documents, you presented a false passport, a false birth certificate, or something false. Now it's really difficult for your immigration lawyer to get you either out of bond when you're detained or get you out of deportation proceedings. Kind of makes it very, very difficult for your immigration lawyer to be able to help you, because now you don't created a situation. Let's just say in the very beginning, the ICE officer didn't have any need to pull you over. They had no legal right to pull you over. You weren't, you are not speeding. You hadn't committed some crime. You don't have any criminal issues, no fraud issues on your record. You are a clean, law-abiding citizen. Let's just say you are a clean, law-abiding citizen. And then they pull you over, and then now you done gone and messed up and lied to them or given them some sort of false documents. Now they didn't have anything previously. Now they got something on you. And then lastly, they may want to search your car. Please do not consent to them searching your car. Just be like, hey, I don't consent to you searching your car. Again, this is just legal. This is how it should be legally, but in practice, it's different. If you tell the officer, hey, I don't consent you searching my car, and they insist, you can't make them not search it. Don't try to resist that. Don't try to push them over. Don't try nothing. You just stand over and let them search. Okay. But you just keep saying with your mouth, get it on the record that, hey, I don't really consent to you searching. That's just all you're trying to do, is just make sure it's on the record that I don't consent. Say over and over, even as they're searching, I don't consent you searching my car. And then, of course, lastly, now you've presented your documents, you've presented your registration or your license documents or your insurance documents. Lastly, remember I told you only ICE has the ability or the right to ask you for your immigration status. Anybody else asking you for your immigration status or for documents showing your legality here as an immigrant, they have no right, and you can simply refuse. You can simply say, hey, my lawyer told me not to give those over, or I'm not comfortable giving that information over without my lawyer being here. Or you could also simply say, I don't know, I don't know. You find a way, in other words, to not give them that if they're not ICE, all right? And if they are ICE, this is the best practice. Finally, I want to say this, the best practice out there is give a copy, not the original. So I've stated in many videos, many lives before. In case you didn't catch it, I'll say it again. Always have a copy of all your legal documents, just a copy, not the original. Right now, obviously for obvious reasons, I don't want to go any further, but just have a copy, not the original. It's best practices to give a copy and not an original. And especially if you're a law-abiding resident, you don't do anything. You've never had any criminal issues, no fraud issues. You don't want ICE getting your original documents and seizing them. Okay, so just give just a copy is fine. A good, clean, clear copy on your phone, all right, is fine to show them. Okay, so a copy of what you may ask, copy of your green card, your birth certificate, your naturalization certificate, a copy of your receipt notices, even if you're not already legalized, but you got something pending. Remember, I always tell you have something pending. Have a copy of your receipt notices. I'll have a copy of any approval notices that you have. All right, a copy is fine. A copy of a work permit is fine. All right, and then now, then after that, the last thing is, ask them, okay, am I free to go? If they say you're free to go, of course, then you roll out. You just leave. Okay. So thank you and leave. So that's just the last thing. So, but in summary, the biggest thing to remember is they have no right to search your car. All right. So you can just keep telling them, hey, I don't consent to you searching your car, because if they search your car and they find something, in other words, now they may be just looking for a way to arrest you. Maybe they didn't have anything on you, but now the search is just an extension. It's usually something for them to find, trying to find some way to get you to get you detained or whatever. Things they can ICE or a police officer can do is they can't pat your clothes, though. They can't pat you. So if you got some sort of weapons on you, oops, too bad. Or you got some drugs on you or something you shouldn't have, too bad for you. Okay, so they can tap you, all right, but they don't have a right to search you. Secondly, remember, safety is key. All these things I'm saying, or you hear a lawyer saying on social media, or your lawyer may tell you, all that is good in theology. All of what we're saying is good in theory, but in practice, you want to make sure you get out of there safely. So implement all these tips in a calm manner. Implement these tips in such a way where you're getting out of there alive and well and legally protected. That's the only thing you're looking to do. You're looking to get out of there alive to see your family the next day or that night. You're looking to get out there so your children can still be able to call your mom or dad the next day, okay, or that night. That's what you're looking to do, all right? And then you're looking to hopefully get out of there in such a way where you got something against that officer, that police officer or that ICE officer, should you need to. You're looking to get out of there legally protected. That's it, all right? And then finally, please remember, do not lie, and then no false documents. That's one of the reasons why we're in this situation now. We have this bad narrative we have this bad reputation. All right. Immigrants have got this bad reputation of being criminals, blah, blah, blah. This is why we have that narrative going on in the news right now. That's why we're in this situation right now. So please do not add to it by lying to the officers or by giving them any false information. It's better that you be quiet. It's better for you to exercise your right to be quiet. And literally, when they ask you, do you have any documents on immigration status? Yeah, that's actually the best thing to do. Let me go back to it and say, that's actually the best thing to say is I exercise my right to be quiet. Without my lawyer being here, I exercise my right to be silent. You could do that. It's better for you to be silent than for you to give wrong information, bad information, or even the worst thing you could do is give false documents. Now they really got something on you. Now they really have a right to deport you. If you give any false documents, any false passport, false U.S. citizen documents, false. No, just remember, I said this one thing you need to remember, and every other lawyer tell you, no, don't do it. Don't do it. Okay. I don't care if you feel like you have the worst situation going on, or you feel like you have a bad immigration case going on. I don't care what your friends told you. Now I'm hopping over to the next topic of this live. I don't care what your friends told you to do. Don't do it. I've talked about in many lives before about the many situations I see people are in because of following bad advice from friends and family. Worst thing to do right now is to give false documents. That's bad advice. Don't listen to it. If a friend told you to do that, don't. If a family member told you to do that, they lying. Okay? Look at it as they're lying, or they don't like you, or either that or they don't know any better, or whatever. Don't listen to that. That's bad advice. Don't give false documents. And on the topic of friends giving bad advice, right now is also the time not to listen to friends who are telling you, hey, you just need to quickly marry somebody so you can get a green card. That's also bad advice. Right now, more than ever, immigration is such a hot topic and such a knowledgeable topic now. ICE and USCIS officers can see a fraudulent marriage coming. They can see it coming. Please don't just go and marry someone just for papers. That's bad advice. I mean, and there's just so many other bad advice that I still hear on the street, people telling me that they're doing. Oh, the other thing I that's also bad advice is your friend telling you to lie on an application, to lie and say that you're a U.S. citizen so you can work. That's also bad advice. It's bad, and it's probably some of the worst advice, because there is no cure for claiming to be a false U.S. citizen in order to work or in order to get immigration benefits. That's one way you'll find yourself never being able to get a green card. It puts a bar on you, right? If USCIS makes a determination, or immigration court makes a determination that you stated on an application or on taxes or on some government document, you stated on some application, all right, on some government document that you are a U.S. citizen falsely in order to work. It's a real big issue. America doesn't play that. It is a big deal. That's bad advice. Don't listen to it. It'll put you in a place where you can't undo. The only way to really undo something like that is to show that you retracted it, like you went back and told the government or the person that you lied to, or the organization that you lied to, that, hey, I'm not really a U.S. citizen. The only way to really attack that's the best way to attack that, is to show that there was a written and timely retraction of the false U.S. citizen claim. But if you're not able to show that, it's kind of very hard to fight that. So I'm just giving you examples of bad advice that you don't want to listen to from friends. Bad advice also is that, hey, even when you know you have a good case, you know you've experienced something on U.S. soil, you know you've been robbed on U.S. soil, something bad has happened to you on U.S. soil. You go to an immigration lawyer, and an immigration lawyer says you qualify for a U visa. By the way, I don't do U visas, so I'm just talking about it. But a lawyer tells you qualify for a U visa, and your friend or your family member says, don't do that. Now is not the time to file for application. And you just sit your butt down on your chair and you ain't got no applications. That's bad advice to listen to, because you have nothing. If you were pulled over by a police officer, you got nothing. You absolutely have nothing to show them. If they ask you, if ICE is asking you for an immigration status documents, you have nothing to prove you even have anything pending. And I've heard of people being able to get out of an ICE traffic stop just by showing they have a pending application. But you listen to your friend who also has nothing. Your friend also probably has nothing to. You listen to your friend, and now you ain't got no applications, no protection. That's also bad advice. Let's say you went to a lawyer, and the lawyer told you qualify for asylum, or you qualify, I don't know, for this type of application or that type of application. You very much qualify, and you know, it's not that your lawyer is telling you, you qualify too, but no, you listen to your friend. Your friend told you, no, now is not the time, let's wait till later. And then you just set your butt down and listen to your friend. And maybe your friend, he or she too, they also don't have immigration status. So that I don't get. That's bad advice. And also you listen to somebody who also doesn't have it. Or maybe you listen to somebody who's already a U.S. citizen. It don't make no sense. That person is already good. If they get pulled over by ICE, they're good, but you're not. So that's also just bad advice. I just hear. Anyway, enough of the preaching. Let me start taking questions. Any questions before I leave? Because I've talked about ICE traffic stops, how to stay safe, what to do, what your rights are in that situation. I've discussed bad advice not to listen to from friends or family members. Any questions, any concerns other than that? Any questions, any concerns? If you have a question, you can come live. I'm taking questions live. And typically, I just want to let you know that the rule is typically I take one question at a time. One question at a time, okay? So if you have a question, you can come live. And then if I don't have any questions live, we'll just end it here today. And then, so I'm going to give it like 30 more seconds to see if someone wants to come live and ask a question. If you want to come live, you just need to jump over on my IG page. And that's Val Queen. So jump over on my IG page and you can request to come live and I'll take your question. So just a few more seconds. And if there's no one coming live to ask a question, we'll end it there. I prefer to answer questions live. It's just better that way. And also it's easier to read. All right. All right. I'm going to start taking questions now. Hello? If you're watching from some other platform, jump over on IG if you want to ask a question. Hello?
Yeah, hi, good evening.
How are you doing?
I'm good. Actually, I'm calling because I placed, I think I was scheduled for a consultation since 2 weeks ago, so I don't know, they keep rescheduling me.
Okay. So I wouldn't need to know was it with me?
Yeah, with you.
Okay, do you want to send us a message? Send me a message because I wouldn't know who you are. All right.
I should send you a message?
Yes, ma'am.
With this number?
What do you mean? Send a message on IG.
Okay. So what should I I was scheduled for an appointment or I was scheduled for a consultation. Is that what you want me to send to you?
Whatever you want to say. I'm just saying I can't address that right now. So do you want to send me a message?
Okay, yeah. I was calling because
do you want to send me a message?
I tried to renew my my I-765 under C31 because my VAWA was approved.
Okay.
So so since last year, and I haven't gotten the physical card, so I wanted to know if the pause affected both the work authorization and the green card.
Okay. Well, first of all, I still think you should schedule a consultation. Number one. Number two. Honestly, we're not really sure just yet if the ban is affecting our work permits and travel permits. What I can tell you is that even before that, though, we were experiencing a bit of a delay starting last year. Ever since the new administration, things have slowed down a little bit, so it's possible. Is what I can tell you.
Okay, but I've scheduled a consultation. I've paid and everything, so I'm just waiting for. But has been canceling since 2 weeks ago.
Okay, ma'am. That's why I was trying to tell you to send me a message. So, because I don't know how you want me to address that now, at this particular time.
So I should send you a message on Instagram. Is that what you're saying?
That's what I said, ma'am.
All right.
Do you mind?
Thank you.
Do you mind?
Yeah, I will. I'll send you a message on Instagram.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
All right. Any more questions? Is it fine for the pending to seal the criminal record for this case? You need a consultation, madam. Whoever asked that. I think you need a consultation. Any more questions? I'll give you about 30 more seconds before I leave. Hello? Hello?
Hello?
Yes.
So basically I have a question. I filed for my VAWA like 6, 7, 8 months ago, but I haven't received any notice yet, the receipt notice. I just wanted to know, is it possible there are delays or what is happening?
Yes, that's what I was telling the other lady that just joined, that we've been having delays lately on just a lot of things, honestly. So I'm sure it will come, is what I can tell you. But yes, the delays are kind of becoming I don't want to use normal, but yes, since if you just watch the news, you can kind of clearly understand why there's delays,
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
Thank you. All right. Any more questions, guys? Before I go, I'm just waiting on one more person. I'm going to answer one more question and then we'll call it a day. All right. Any more questions? Anybody else coming live to ask their question? Guys, if you'd like to ask a question, I usually take them live. So if you'd like to ask a question, I'll do one more question here. Hello? 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 I don't know what happened to that person. Hello? Oh, there we go. Hello? Hello?
Yeah, can you hear me, please?
Yes, I can hear you.
Yeah, I think I like what you're doing. Thanks for this information. Very, very key.
You're welcome.
I wanted to actually, you said about the delays and all that, and there's something about eyes and everything. Mm-hmm. So I got a friend who was recently head up for eyes situation. Mm-hmm. So he was driving and he was head up and all that. So he was able to present his driving license and all that.
Okay.
But all of a sudden, his information, he was still arrested and all that for no just reasons and all that. Though he was having a pending case, but he doesn't have no pending case. Now he's currently with the ICE situation right now. Mm-hmm. So we're having getting information that you should go apply for some, maybe like a VAWA situation, because that was what he was actually doing before for a marriage petition and all that. What would be your take or your advice on that?
Sorry, I think I missed something. Say it one more time.
So he was arrested by ICE.
Okay.
He was driving, I got arrested.
Okay.
So he actually filed for a marriage petition.
Okay.
So when he filed for the marriage petition, it didn't work out. There were some issues that came up on the filing and all that.
So his marriage-based application was denied?
It was denied. It was denied actually.
Oh, okay.
So he was held up for ICE now. So he wanted to see if he could actually file it again due to that it's been held up as a way of telling that he has a pending case.
Yeah, you can always file an application anytime, provided you qualify. I mean, even if he's already in ICE detention. It's just that, like I was discussing earlier on this video, it makes things, it's usually better to already have a pending application and a good one at that before ICE gets you.
Okay.
But it's not impossible. So any lawyer that does immigration proceedings or removal proceedings, or should we say deportation proceedings, is used to filing an application for a person even after they have already been detained. But of course, for obvious reasons, it's now more complicated, right? Your lawyer may have to physically come and get signatures for the applications. It's just a little more complicated to get an application filed once you're already detained. It's more complicated. It's more lengthy. There may be delays on the application process simply because you don't have access to your lawyer like the regular average Joe does, who's still outside.
Yes.
Yeah, but it's possible.
Yeah, thanks. That's what I wanted to know. Thanks.
Yeah, no problem. All right. Okay, guys. All right. So I'm going to summarize what I discussed because I see more people have come while I wait for maybe one or two more people to ask questions, and then we'll be out. In summary, I discussed what to do if ICE, stops you. And I basically discussed that, hey, that's more of a possibility for a lot of people because, it's more of a possibility for you to get stopped by ICE than it is for them to show up at your door. Why? Because, I don't know, you could always move. There's many ways to probably maneuver, them from coming to your home. But to maneuver your way around them not stopping you, that's kind of harder because you got to go to work, you got to go to school, you got to pick up your kids, you get it. So basically, in summary, I said that, look, the things to remember when you get stopped is no matter what advice you've heard from me, from any lawyer that you know, any good lawyer that you respect, or even your own lawyer, no matter what advice you've heard, the biggest thing to remember is you need to get out of there safely. So please implement any advice they've given you with safety, with caution, and with calmness, because your biggest thing is right then and there. Typically, your lawyer is not there to protect you. At that particular time, it's you and it's that officer and it's God, and you need to get out of there alive and well. All right. So the biggest thing is get out of there alive, get out of there well, and please, by all means, preserve the record. In other words, like get out of there having your rights legally protected. You just keep telling them things like, hey, I don't consent to you searching my car. I don't consent to this. I don't consent to that. They ask you for your immigration status or immigration documents, especially if you don't know that it's ICE. If you're unsure it's ICE or they didn't tell you I'm ICE, all right, they have no right to be asking you for your immigration documents. You don't have to give them in most states unless you're in a state that already has like some laws, some unconstitutional laws passed saying that you got to give over those to an officer, to a police officer. But for the majority of people, in most of the 50 states and territories, most of the time you have no legal obligation to give over your immigration documents or your immigration status to anybody other than an ICE officer. But if it's a police officer, like I just said, just maybe, and you're in maybe one of those small cities or states, it's just a few of them that maybe have passed an actual exact law on this saying that a police officer can ask you for that, then of course you got to abide by that. But for the average person and the average in most cities and states, you don't have to give that information over to anybody other than an ICE officer. And so in that case, what you're supposed to do is say something like, I'm going to exercise my right to remain silent. If they ask you for anything that's illegal, especially if it's a police officer, I exercise my right to remain silent. I'm uncomfortable talking without my lawyer. If you don't remember that legal terminology, just say, I'm not comfortable talking without my lawyer being here, or I exercise my right to remain silent. All right. And then I went ahead and also talked about and said that, hey, make sure the biggest, also most important thing to remember is no false documents, no lies. And I said that's one of the reasons why we're in this situation now, is because of the false narrative that's going on, that every immigrant is a criminal. Every immigrant engages in fraudulent activity. So you lying and you giving false documents is feeding into that narrative and is adding to the problems that every other immigrant has to deal with because you lied to an officer, because you gave false documents. And also, I said, even more importantly, it makes it almost very difficult, almost impossible for your immigration lawyer to not be able to get you out on bond or get you out of deportation proceedings because you were over there presenting false documents. Okay. And you have to remember, in the very first place, maybe they didn't even have anything on you. Maybe the police officer or the ICE officer had absolutely nothing on you, but now they got something on you because you lied to them. You gave them false immigration status. You gave them false documents. Now they got something on you, which you don't want. Okay. So in the very first place, if they didn't have nothing on you, you want to get out of that place alive again, and you want to get out of that place with them still having nothing on you, which is why you don't consent to them searching your vehicle. Obviously, you shouldn't have nothing in there in the first place. Okay. All right. But that's why you don't consent to them, searching your vehicle, right? Plus, first, they don't have the right. And secondly, because they could try to stick you with something. All right. So don't consent to them searching your vehicle. And that's also why we don't give any false documents or false information. You don't want them. Somebody says immigration judge granted motion to terminate. Can I get a hell yeah? Not just wait for your CS to educate provide a case. Absolutely. Heck yeah, sister girl. I don't know if that's a guy or girl. Sister man, sister girl. Mr. Man or sister girl. Heck yeah, happy for you. Anyway, so get out of there with them having nothing on you. So please don't lie. This is such a big thing. This is such a big deal. I gotta say it multiple times. Do not lie to them, no matter how fearful you are, no matter what people have told you, your friends have told you. Don't lie. Don't be telling, and don't lie about immigration status. And then don't give false documents that don't belong to you, or don't have your face, or don't have or have a name other than yours. Don't do that. Don't do that. It's just going to make it difficult now for you to get out on bond or for you to get out of deportation proceedings. Very, very difficult. And I think the last thing I want to say is let's address the fear of being in immigration court. believe it or not, so many people, so many of the immigrants, not even just now, even in prior administrations, maybe I'll say about 50% or 40% of the immigrant of any immigrant, either has been in deportation proceedings before or is in deportation proceedings before. So just because you end up in deportation proceedings does not mean it's the end of the day for you. That's why you have good lawyers. That's what lawyers are for. You could still end up out of deportation proceedings. All right. So just finding yourself in deportation proceedings, especially in current administration, in current law, right now, any application you file for, if it's denied, USCIS typically right now has the ability to put you in deportation proceedings. So that means a lot of people will end up in deportation proceedings, not because they have committed any crime, but just simply because the application was denied, which means there's nothing to fear. Let this fear, try to let that fear of being in deportation proceedings diminish in your mind, because it is not the end of the world. Somebody just said they were able to get out of deportation proceedings. Yeah, he said he was in deportation proceedings for 7 years. And yes, but you're out. You got out. So there are people who literally live with it. Like literally you're in deportation proceedings. Your lawyer is fighting it. You continue living your life. You have a work permit. You continue living your life until the day that, God willing, a good lawyer is able to get you out of deportation proceedings. Finally, I want to discuss one more thing. There are some applications to truth, and this is the truth, honest to God truth, it's not because I do vow, that are really beneficial to people who are either in deportation proceedings, who are not in deportation proceedings, who could be in deportation proceedings, or who could be detained. And these are applications such as U visas, T visas, and VAWA. Okay. In the case of VAWA, once you have an approved I-360, once your main VAWA application is approved, lots of judges will agree to have you removed out of deportation proceedings. Why? Because once you have an I-360 approval, USCIS has already done a thorough background check on you and determined you don't have any serious criminal issues, no serious fraud issues, or that you have no history, no criminal history at all, no fraudulent history at all. Once your I-360 is approved, USCIS has already made this determination that you have, in other words, that you have good moral character. Okay, and that's the legal term for it. In fact, that's actually the legal standard. One of the legal standards for you to get an I-360 approved is they have to actually check your background. So a judge is usually, lots of judges, not all judges, still depends on the judge. Lots of judges will use their discretion and actually approve for you to get out of deportation proceedings once your I-360 is approved, because they judge it, they clearly see you've already undergone some sort of vetting, and USCIS has already determined that you have the necessary good moral character to be able to adjust your status. You already have the necessary good moral character for you to be able to get a green card in the United States. So once your I-360 is approved, any lawyer, any good lawyer can easily file a motion to dismiss, a motion to terminate, or some other motion and get you out of deportation proceedings. All right. So VAWA, in other words, what I'm saying, is a very, very good option, provided you qualify. So if you're married to a U.S. citizen, or were married to a U.S. citizen or green card holder, and it was toxic as heck, or it is toxic as heck, and you legitimately married this person, you married this person for real, you really did see yourself, you saw a future with this person. If these three things apply to you, you need to call me. Let's talk about VAWA. It's a good protection, whether you're in deportation proceedings or you're not. Whether you think you'll end up in deportation proceedings or not, it is just a good protection. It actually puts a stay on your head saying, do not deport this person. And I always say, provided, of course, you don't go and rape somebody or murder someone, provided you don't go and commit some crime. It does protect you from deportation. It really does. Not only does it do that, it really helps you get out of deportation proceedings once the I-360 is approved. All right. And so, yeah, so I think those are the things I wanted to summarize. And I also wanted to, I was summarizing and I went into law again. I also wanted to summarize bad advice that you can get from people telling you to lie on applications and state that you're a U.S. citizen. Times are hard, so just go ahead and lie and state that you're on this work application so you can work. That's bad, worst advice ever, because there is no cure for a false U.S. citizenship claim. It's not even a cure. The only thing you can do if you find yourself in that situation is to show that you retracted in writing. You actually wrote to the government or to whoever you lied to and admitted that wasn't true, that you're not a U.S. citizen. That's the only way to cure that. So anybody trying to tell you to lie on an application, that's bad advice. That you're a U.S. citizen, that's super bad advice. Not even bad. That's crazy work, as they say on social media. That's crazy work. That's diabolical, literally. It's bad advice. Don't do it. Anybody telling you to just go marry any U.S. citizen so you can get papers, that's also bad, crazy work. It's not diabolical, but that's bad advice, okay? All right. Diabolical advice will be for you to go and lie on an application that you're a U.S. citizen in order to work. All right. Or, lying about your immigration status on something government related to get some sort of immigration benefit will bar you from ever getting anything from the U.S. government ever again. Okay. So bad advice, crazy work. Don't do it. If you are, someone who's like that, please give me a call. Let's talk about, if possible, anything can be done to salvage the situation. All right. My phone number is at the bottom. 901-306-7123. Some other advices that I've heard of is, hey, don't file that application. You see a lawyer who legitimately tells you. Yeah, you can hop on. I'll still take 2 more questions. Somebody's asking, can I still ask a question live? Yes, you can hop on and ask. You go to a lawyer and they legitimately tell you qualify for a case. You qualify for asylum. You qualify. Maybe you still have status at this time, and you go and see a lawyer, and a lawyer say, hey, your employer can still petition for you. They can still do an EB2 or EB3 case for you. Your employer can petition for you. But then you go home and you talk to your friend, your lover, your family member, and they say, I don't think now's a good time. Let's wait. That's bad advice. That's bad advice. Bad advice, because I just told you, we just discussed, situations where you could get pulled over and you have nothing at all. And by the way, it's even worse advice if you're listening to somebody who already has a green card or U.S. citizenship. They're not going to be there to protect you. They cannot protect you. Their status is not yours. There's even worse advice if you're listening to a person telling you now is not a good time to file. Don't file for anything when you know you qualify. When you know you ain't got absolutely zero, nothing, no form of protection. If ICE was to pull you over, or if ICE was to come to your door or come to your workplace, you got zero protection. Yet you're listening, and it's even worse advice if the person telling you this has nothing either. They have nothing. They're on the same level as you. Y'all both under ditch, as far as I'm concerned. Excuse my words, but you're both under a ditch, and you're listening to somebody who's also trying to get out of the ditch. It doesn't make sense. Okay, so don't listen to anybody that tells you now is not a good time to file, especially if they have nothing themselves, or especially if they already have it all. They already have a green card. They're already a U.S. citizen. It makes no sense for you to listen to them. They can't protect you. They can't help you, and they're already good. Anywho. Yeah, don't get me started. Let me just answer some questions. Hello? Hello? Oh, hello? Let me see. Did it go through? Hello? I'm answering questions, guys. If you're coming live, I'm answering the last questions before I go. Last questions. It looks like I'm experiencing. I'm answering the last questions live, so that's what I'm doing. And I don't know what happened to the last person. It didn't go through. Let's try it again. Hello? Did it go through? Hello?
Hello.
How you doing?
Yeah. How you doing?
Good.
Thank everything you are doing. We really appreciate you. God bless you.
You're welcome.
My question is it okay now to travel with Transparo internationally, maybe like Canada or Europe?
So in our law firm, we're telling we're telling everyone don't travel. So in my office, we have a strict policy against travel right now internationally. That's what I can say, madam. All right, unless it's an emergency, unless something cannot wait, and you're willing to take the risk.
Clearly.
I said in my law office, we're telling everybody, no, don't travel right now. In my law office, we have a strict policy against travel internationally right now. All right. But I said, of course, there's emergencies that may come up. So unless you're willing to take the risk, and it has to be an emergency, I would say, for you to justify not being able to come in. You get it. Now, I'm not saying that if you leave, you're not going to be able to come back. But for obvious reasons, even with just the breaking of the law, of ICE breaking the law, CBP breaking the law, for obvious reasons, I would just say right now, no. And then especially if you're from certain countries, if you're from a country that's covered by the travel ban or the 75 suspension, definitely for you, no, don't go anywhere.
Okay, but what about domestically?
May I answer one question? Call my office, answer that. But okay.
Domestically, see one question.
Well, I think I've already answered that question. I don't want to say anymore. Honestly, I already kind of answered that question.
Okay. Thank you. Bye. Love you.
Bye-bye. Oh. All right. While I'm bringing this last person in, guys, our office reopens next week. So our office has been closed the whole week because of the terrible winter conditions here. So we do reopen next week. We reopen next week. Hello? What happened to this person? Did he go through? Hello? No, I do not handle deportation proceedings. Not at this time. Soon, maybe we'll start again. But as of this time, I've stopped taking deportation proceedings. Okay. Hello. Okay, guys. I think we'll end it here. Please share as always. Thank you so much for coming and hanging out with me on this No Day Friday. And how do we hop to ask a question live? Let me try to help this person. You just go live. You just press live, but I've asked you to help you. That's how you go live. Hello?
Hello. Hey, thanks for taking my call. So I do have a question. I have put in an application for a VAWA. I was in an abusive relationship. Mm-hmm. My ex-wife, she did not show up to the interview about twice.
Okay.
The first time she didn't show up, they have to reschedule for us. And the second time she came in, I have reason to believe she sabotaged the interview. Mm-hmm. She was jokingly about it. She told me jokingly about it, and she left. And then the second, we have another follow-up interview after that. She never showed up. But at that time, I had to file for VAWA. Okay. But I've been trying to move on from that, and I now have a partner. I met someone, and I was trying to ask you whether it's safe to continue VAWA or it's better to file for adjustment of status with my new partner.
I think you're doing what I'm going to say, right? It's probably better we have a detailed discussion so I could tell you which one would be better. I'd have to probably know some things and I don't want to ask you on live. So just call my office. We reopen. We're not open until, well, I may have someone answering the calls tomorrow. So try and call tomorrow. But if not, on Monday. Tomorrow. Yeah, but if not, call on Monday and schedule an appointment with me.
Okay. And would that appointment be free, or do I have to pay for the appointment?
Oh, no, it's not free. It's $150.
$150? Okay. And how long is that? 30 minutes? 20 an hour?
We typically offer 30 minutes.
30 minutes? Okay. All right. Then I'll do that then. Okay.
Right. Take care, bro.
Thank you. You're welcome. Bye.
Someone said do this live show more. I used to do it a lot. I don't know. Did you not come? You need to come live more often. Whoever said that. I'm flipping it on you. Like you see that, you like that. Hello. Please read my comment. I don't know what comment that is. For Hibana, you can come live and ask a question though. All right. This always happens. Anytime I'm ready to go. That's when everybody wants to come live. Hello. Hello. Did it go through? Okay. If you're trying to come live, try to do it again, please. Looks like I'm trying to bring you in. It's not coming in. If you're trying to come live, go ahead and request to come live again. All right, because it says there's 6 people requesting to come live, but when I click it, I don't see anybody. Okay. Or you can put a comment and say, I'd like to come live. I could try to add you from this side. So if you'd like to come live, just say, hey, I want to come live, and I can add you from this side. I can do it myself instead of waiting for you to accept it. Hello? Instead of waiting for you to request, I can request you. I can bring you in. Hello?
Hi, Wafula.
Yes.
I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
I'm currently a client waiting on my advance,
Mm-hmm.
and I have an emergency at home. It just struck me this morning. And is there any arrangements that I can make to visit my country almost immediately?
Do you have a travel permit?
Not yet.
Okay. You can apply for an emergency travel permit.
Okay.
Usually those work best in the times though when USCIS is actually together. Right now, honestly, they may not be as together. So all I'm just trying to say is prepare your mind for the fact that you may get it, you may not be able to get it on time. But typically, do you have an application already pending?
Yes, I'm your client.
Okay, just call and I'll see what we can do for you.
I've been trying to do that, but nothing is going through today.
Okay. Yeah, but that's why I told you we're closed. We're closed this week, yeah. So just call on Monday.
Okay.
Okay. All right. And just say, hey, it's important. I need an emergency travel permit, and they'll get it over to me.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Just ask to speak to anybody who's in leadership position. They'll get it over to me.
Okay. All right. I'll do that.
Okay. Thank you. Bye-bye. Hello.
Hello. Good evening.
Good evening. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good.
Yeah, I have a question about my green card. It's going to expire in April.
Okay.
But I have to leave the country by next month.
When you say you have to, is it a real must, like an emergency? Hello?
Can you hear me?
When you say you have to, is this a real emergency?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you mind me asking what the emergency is?
I lost my dad.
Okay. What you need to do is call the travel company you're using. Was it Delta or American Airlines?
Delta.
Whoever you're using, call and they'll tell you. sometimes they have some restrictions, and also some countries have restrictions. Some countries will say you need to have something valid more than 3 months, or they'll say the cutoff date is 60 days or 30 days before it expires. So it depends on the airlines and it depends on the country. So it depends on Kenya laws, and also it depends on the airlines. So call them and they'll tell you.
Oh, okay. It's just getting back here. I can use my passport back home and just go back home, but just
then if you
getting back.
listen very well, I'm answering your question very well. Call their airlines. They'll tell you whether they'll let you board and be able to come. They'll let you know. They'll tell you.
All right. All right. Thank you.
Bye-bye. Mhm. Okay, guys. I think I'm gonna leave here now. I need to go eat something. I haven't really eaten. Have a great day. Enjoy, guys. Our office, for those who are asking, our office is back open next week. This week, for obvious reasons, we were fully closed. So if you'd like to speak to me or want to schedule a consultation or anything like that, we are open next week. We will be open next week. You could also try to call sometime tomorrow, but we will open officially next week. As always, please share. Somebody said that we shall come live more often. I do come live quite some, although recently I've been a bit busier. So, but when I do come live, you gotta actually share the video so people can come and listen and hear and get good advice. And also people can ask questions, a free question as well. Bye, guys. Bye. Oh, you're so sweet. Oh, thank you. Thank you, madam. I appreciate you. Bye-bye. All right.